I'm Jody Pollock. I'm here reporting for NM News, New Mexico's news source. The ethical breach of 2017 from Equifax. Who has your information? Equifax released a statement in September of 2017 stating that it in fact had a data breach in security systems. And in doing so, hackers had gained access and released information on its customers, social security numbers, credit cards, addresses, and other personal information. This is 40% of the United States was affected. That's 143 million Americans have now a risk of identity theft. Equifax had a number of flaws in its strategic planning as well as its code of ethics. The Equifax breach put more than 100 million Americans at risk, but Equifax itself showed little remorse. So what happened? So Equifax used Apache Stretch, which is the open source framework that helps create JavaScript for the company. In running a security check, it was found that there was a vulnerability in the system, but Equifax chose to ignore it. What the vulnerability do was allow hackers to access Apache struts by giving it a source code of HTTP request with a secret malicious code inside, but Apache struts would recognize it as friendly and let the hackers inside. And inside they would find, in plain text, all the customer's personal information right there, easily accessible. Later in March of 2017, so once it was discovered in 2017, then later that month, that was when the first hackers began to breach the system, and they breached it for the next 2 months. It wasn't discovered by Equifax until May of 2017. It wasn't until September of 2017 that Equifax decided to reach out to its stockholders and its customers and let them know what had happened. So the ethical betrayal to Americans. So really what happened was Equifax found out about the vulnerability, chose to ignore it, chose to not tell its customers when a breach happened, and waited for 2 more months. That in itself is ethically wrong in any business, in any code of ethics. What Equifax should have done ethically is to tell the customers that there's a vulnerability right away. This would have allowed Equifax to then fix the issue before it was hacked. Instead, they chose the CEOs, had no strategic plan in place that held anyone at any type of compliance. So even though it was noted, it wasn't required to go to human resources to let the customers or the stockholders know. And instead, the CEOs just continued to gain profits from the rising stocks. So key failures. This data breach was so intense that even Congress had to weigh in on what happened. The first thing is that ethically, yes, as stated, Equifax should have told its customers. It shouldn't have held it back. It shouldn't have kept it a secret. This is personal information. It's putting everyone at risk. And these customers are trusting Equifax to keep their information secret, the entire point of Equifax. The second part is that there was no accountability in IT. There's 300 security certificates that Equifax allowed to go expire and did not renew them at all. If these were renewed, this would not have happened. So Equifax took a lot of negative opinion for this. It has ethical responsibility. It had no strategic planning whatsoever for this. Even its code of ethics in 2017 stated that the most important thing to employees was to protect Equifax's reputation. So of course, when this happened, Equifax didn't know the employees that felt like they had to do anything because they wanted to protect the reputation of the company. So what really is going on is that Equifax lost the trust of the American public. And these customers really want to know, why did it take for something like this to come to light, for Equifax to finally do the right thing, ethically, and to finally redesign its code of ethics so that there was a strategic plan in place for these kind of things, and that the customers would be notified right away when this happened. So why Equifax? Why did it take so long for you to let us all know about it? Thank you. This is Jody Pollock reporting for New Mexico News, New Mexico's news source.